Well, once again, you found the Bros of the Brew. Jersey Joe here, eye on the box over there. It's just like bar talk that you have at your bar we meet online for a chat and a beer and have some crazy topics. And boy, we've got one for this show, and you guys like to put it out on social media. So what we're going to talk about is it wrong to smash on a first date? It's not a dating topic, but you guys had lots to say about it. So tell us, those of you watching right now or follow us on Twitter, is it wrong to smash on a first date? Got lots of your comments on this one, got lots to go through on this one. Joe, we'll go to you first. So what do you think? Is it wrong to smash on a first date?
Absolutely not. It is absolutely not a bad thing to do. I've smashed several girls on the first date, one on the second date. Some of those things are, well, one of the chicks wanted to stay in a relationship. One of them apologized for bad sex. The one on the second date I ended up in a relationship with. So there's definitely... it can work any way you want. I don't think it has an effect, like positive or negative, on the relationship if you don't make it have an effect.
We have a live viewer who just wrote in saying they don't want to smash on a first date or any date after that because they don't want to hurt them. I think we got to figure out what the term of smashing is. But a different way to look at this, look. If you, we'll go back to, say, my grandmother's time, when you're back in, either the 30s and 40s, smashing the first date was, oh, no, we got to be super nice and Christian. That's not the right thing to do. Right. But back in those days, you were also expected to be married and pound out a kid by the time you were 24. Now, fast forward to our time, things are a little bit different. Even when I was in high school in the 90s, smashing the first date, heck yeah, people smashing the first date. I mean, come on, it is what it is. And definitely now, even more so, I mean, come on, you got to, let's be honest, kids are going on their first date when they're teenagers. They're already vaping by the time they're 15. So parents, you got to understand that, yeah, sometimes, kids are going to do that. So if you're so worried about that, teach them what's right or wrong or whatever your values are.
Correct. And it's not even a big deal. That's the thing that Americans, we've been brought up in this culture to believe that this is a big deal. It's really not. It's not a big deal at all. If you go over to other countries or across the world, people all the time. Oh, shit, I shouldn't have said but they all the time.
Well, that's also part of it, too. A lot of that's when you have your, Christian church upbringing, they tell you all the things that are wrong in the Bible, and, oh, no sex until you're married. Well, a lot of that gets in the culture, and as you know, that also dictates things like the blue laws, you can't have a drink until certain ages, or, gambling's wrong, thing like that. So some of that just comes from the old school church thinking. I want to welcome a bunch of live viewers on there. Hit us up with your comments on this one. We got a bunch of your comments from social media, so I'm going to read a bunch of them right now because Vamos Yankees writes in and says, Hulk smash. Okay, that's not even what we're talking about, but that's damn funny nonetheless.
Everybody has a different version of smashing. His is Hulk smash.
Hulk smash, yes. Henry writes in and says, the running theme of the Jersey Shore show. That's about right. Tony writes in and says, yeah. I hear from young people that it's normal. I'm old, because I think it's super weird. But the entire world is a reality show now. Thanks, Trump. So anything goes, I guess. Still kind of slimy to me. Matt writes in and says that if the date goes well and you're not afraid of catching something, proceed, but with precautions. Good point. Crispin, your little pup, writes in, me gusta smashing my doggy bed. We're just going to leave that at that. And Bolonis writes in, this is my favorite one, and I kept it for the end on purpose. She writes in and says, I would say it's acceptable. I may have done it, but it's sex, not Verizon. There's no 2-year contract attached. I got to give her 20 bonus points for the comedy. It is a good point. It's pretty good.
That's all. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but, it's just like all those people said, it's kind of like the way you were raised and what your family values are. And, well, maybe your family values and my family values are a little bit looser.
Your family values if they don't allow it.
But then here's the other part of this conversation. So we're talking about smashing, and I'm trying to say the right things so it doesn't get us banned off YouTube or flagged or anything. But some of our viewers didn't.
Sorry.
But some of our viewers didn't know exactly what smashing is, like these ones. Karen writes in and says, is smash the same as smush? Kids these days. Well, smash, smush, you want to change the vowel and make it smish, smosh, smosh, or silent Y. You get it. I mean, I think we understand what we're talking about.
To everybody that wrote that or something similar to it, how out of touch and old and white can you possibly be?
Well, you pretty much just went for it there, didn't you? Well, wait, we got a few more of our viewers that also commented in because Matt writes in and says, I feel very old now. Is smashing kissing or more? Or bow chicka wow wow. It's bow chicka wow wow. And Joe writes in and says, it is certainly not okay for someone over the age of 15 to use the term smashing. Well, it's not smashing pumpkins.
Tells me that dude doesn't have the fucking option.
Well, so I mean, look, it's the term now. It is what it is. I mean, it's just like how text, or how language changes over the few years, and my drunken tongue unfolds there. I mean, it's better than saying, well, the other term.
Joe's going to bleep me out for saying that or cut it out of the show, but that's what it is.
Well, our live viewer wrote in and asks, where's an appropriate place for me to dispense the load? Who?
On her face, tits, above the ass, or above the stomach. Or if you don't want to get it on her at all, just fire it on the wall or on your dog's face.
Whoa, there's all kinds of crazy terms for that. That's taking the show to a whole another level. And some people actually get off on that kind of stuff too, but we'll save those topics for a future episode and really get you guys to talk about something crazy online. But let's get to the straight up part. We put the poll online. I asked the question, is it okay to smash on a first date? And you guys, 71% of you said, absolutely it is. 29% of you said, nope, not so much. So 71% of you are clearly older than the age of, are probably around 40, whereas some of these other ones might be a little older. And our live viewer writes in and says, yes, that's like Jerry Springer.
I think I know we're not going to do it, but if you were actually to break down those poll results into age, race, gender, you would find out that the people that said yes to it are probably a whole lot younger, which is just basically what goes on to your point from earlier in the show. It's mostly about this day and age.
And so our viewer just asked if we knew that Jerry Springer was the mayor of Cincinnati, Ohio. Yes, we did. And speaking of yes, though, I mean, yeah, we agree. It is. You know what? If you're going to do that on a first date, then you have to be adult enough to know exactly what you're doing. So one thing it's also what you want to do is click that like or subscribe button down below. There's lots more fun here in the Brew each and every week. And on Thursdays, getting back with Jersey Joe, we're playing a new round of What Is It Really? I put super zoomed in pictures online. Now you, the contestants, try to figure out exactly what it is. Who will top the leaderboard? Find out on Thursdays. Kicking back with Jersey Joe. And one thing we haven't done yet is zoomed in on a boob, but maybe I should start getting some like erotic pictures on there and really go for like the X-Tube version of these web shows.
No, let's not get banned.
The other thing too is like you were talking about the poll a second ago. Just for one more point, I wish we could like fine tune those details a little bit more, but I think that's another plugin on Twitter we have to pay for. We're just doing like a straight up basic Twitter vote, but it'd be interesting because you and I have different followers. Mine are probably a little bit older than yours, and different demographics too. Me and East Coast and West Coast, and sometimes like those answers absolutely do differ.
I like that about the show. It makes it more diverse and more interesting to talk about. But yeah, it would be interesting. Maybe if the show blows up one day, we'll invest in some Twitter analytic poll.
One final question, Joel. Our live viewer wants to know if you prefer Tinder or Bumble.
Oh, you know what? I'm not on any of those things. I always thought they were like really desperate, and like if you were really going to go for somebody, you would actually pay and get on eHarmony. But it's not hard to meet people in Vegas, so I don't use them. But shit, I wish I could give you a better answer than that.
Kind of same here too. It's pretty easy to meet people in New York too. I mean, it's the largest city in the country, so if you have trouble meeting people here, then you have problems of your own. But you know what? There's an app for everything. There's an app too if you want to smash at some point too, and there is. It's just up to you whether you want to download it or not. But Jersey Joe here, Eye on the Box. I want to thank our live viewers. Thanks for all your awesome comments. We'll see you next time, I hope.